Oh, what's good, guys? Zaid here with my boy Garrett, who just bubbled our regionals in Richmond.
Yeah.
One win away from being the top dog.
Yeah, it was top. I was 44th, and it was top 32. So I bubbled in the last round.
But the deck is spicy, and my boy was close. So here we are at the deck profile. You got shout outs or anything, or you want to hop right into it?
Shout outs to Zaid, obviously. Casey, we did a lot of testing into the Ryziel matchup, and then I had a couple of matchups against Bengi practicing for Malice. So that was mainly my shout outs.
Cool. Let's get into it.
So I played Rescue Ace Fiendsmith, so I had to give them a run since Airlifter came back to 3 in the recent ban list. So I have the 3 Rescue Ace Airlifter. Card's crazy. It searches you emergency, which just does everything. Impulse, which is really good because it allows you to play on your opponent's turn, getting you into Fire Engine into the Airlifter, or if you already have an Airlifter, into the Hydrant, which I play 2 of since you play Fiendsmiths. You can't target it if you control another guy, and just searches you any Rescue Ace monster. Then 2 Preventer, quick effect Book of Moon against against a Malice is really good when they normal summon and then set a trap with a White Rabbit. You just book it so they can't banish it before they actually get the card set. Turbulence, set 4 cards from deck is never going to be bad.
That card's so good.
So good. And then the 1 of Fire Engine to summon off of your Airlifter. Just gets you more advantage on your opponent's turn. And then the Rescue Ace spells, we have the 3 Emergency, in case, dodge target negation. Summons a guy from deck, so you can get ashed, but if they're ashing that, then they're not hitting the Fiendsmith side of the deck, which is nice. 1 for 1, which is normally full combo unless they don't hit it. Then you have the 1 HQ, just gives you a grind game, recycles your stuff. 1 reinforcement to search for the Airlifter or Impulse. 1 alert to search your deck or add back from grave. The 1 rescue to reborn your cards or an opponent's if you control Hydrant. 1 extinguish to destroy a card. And then 1 contain to imperm a card.
The reborn's kind of cool. You can reborn a detonator and then use its effect to equip a guy to it and then have a negate.
I did steal a Mirror Logic Aggregator from a Ryziel player with that, so it was funny. And then the contain is really good against Ryziel too if you have the Hydrant, because if you just imperm the Ice Ryziel, sometimes if they don't have any other plays, they just pass there because
they can't overlay with it either.
Yeah, they can't use it for material, so they can't really play with that engine if they don't have any more of the cards for it. And then for the Fiendsmith side of stuff, I'm just very generic ratio. You have 3 Engraver, 1 Lacrima, 1 Lurie, 2 Tract, and then the 1 Fiendsmith in Paradise. Just generic. Every Fiendsmith deck that plays Fiendsmith plays it. It's good. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Why not 3 Tract?
3 Tract because I'm already at 45 cards, and I didn't like being at 46. It just felt a little too cloggy. So, and then you have enough 1-card starters with the trying to bait out the hand traps with your Fiendsmith cards, and then the 1 for 1 trying to, because it's essentially your OSS currently. Just infinitely worse.
I didn't think about the fact that if you have Rescue Ace, 1 for 1 can also get Lurie too. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, which that never came up, but that is also, yeah, pretty cool. And then for the non-engine, I have 3 Nibiru, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit, and then we ran, I was debating between 2 and 3 Triple Tactics, but I went with 2, so I could play the 1 Crossout, which I felt was perfect because Crossout came up more times than it came up more than it did in testing, so that was nice. And then just the 3 Imperm.
So is that 15 hand traps and then the call by?
Yeah.
So 15 going second cards.
Yeah, because you have I like Ghost Ogre because it has that double role of being a board breaker and a hand trap, because you can stop the duo drive. You can it outs the Desiree, so it just that came up twice for me, so that felt good. Then the extra deck, we have the Rescue Ace part of it, which you don't really have to access the extra deck much for Rescue Ace, which I like, but you need to have an Anima, because if you normal summon the Hydrant or you have Hydrant on field, you need to link it off to get it engraved to banish for a summon, you have that. Just worse Link Rebo. And then you have the 1 Hita to steal a Ash Blossom. It came up in the tournament where I stole a Clatter Sploder from a Goblin Biker player, and they just could not play the game after I broke their board with Nib, or after I stopped their plays with Nib. I made Hita reborn to the Clatter Sploder, so they just didn't have much follow-up. Then you have the 1 SP. You can make it before you summon the Turbulence for targeting protection. For Nightmare Phoenix, just good card and helps with the Zelantis OTK. 1 Princess. It's Princess. If they negate the Turbulence on summon, link it off into Princess, bring it back. And then you still have the effect live. Then you have the 1 Raging Phoenix and Zelantis to OTK. And then for Fiendsmith Link monsters, we have the Sequence, Requiem, and Moon. So what I would do is if I started playing with Rescue Ace before I went into the Fiendsmith cards, you would just link off the Turbulence and the SP into the Moon and start going into the Fiendsmith lines.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would just...
Oh, because you usually make this to protect Turbulence, and then if
Yeah.
that goes through, Turbulence set for it, and then you can turn those into full combo again.
Right, yep, and then you'll still most likely have, say, Hydron on field, and then the Reborn spell set, so you can just bring the Turbulence back, so they can't target the Hydrant with battle or card effects on your opponent's turn.
That's savage, holy.
And then you have, there's the 2 fusions, the 1 Necroquip and the 1 Desiree. Then the Xyz monsters, Typhon, really good into the Rizio matchup. I stole an opponent's Duo Drive because they popped the Detonator, so I couldn't take that, and just overlaid the Typhon because I didn't really have many other plays. 1 Chaos Angel and 1 Wave King Caesar.
Do you feel like you missed anything in the extra?
In the extra deck, me and Casey were going back and forth on Chaos Angel over Agnum Day, but this just outs Detonator, which was... Detonator's just a really scary card, really strong.
This card's hard to deal with in a lot of decks, too. I've been trying to think of, because I usually play Pure Rizio, and this card hoses if you don't have, like, exactly a non-engine card to out it.
So it's like, it was too good to... So it was either this or Agnum Day. I did miss Agnum Day, but Chaos Angel came up. It didn't even come up too much against Rizio, because I didn't play it until the final round where I got waxed, so...
Damn.
I played 4 or 5... I played 4 Malice matchups, which I didn't have as much practice against, but I went 2-2 against them. They were my 2 losses before going into the final few rounds.
It's really interesting. This regional got pushed back 2 weeks, and I think if it was 2 weeks earlier, you would have fought, like, only Rizio.
I
A
think
lot
it
of
would have
people...
been all Rizio.
And then now Malice has kind of become more seen in the general population of decks. I don't think it was as well represented early on because it's hard.
Mm-hmm. It's just, and it's weird too, because you have like 3 or 4 different variations floating around now with the, I played against 1 Cash, 2 Striker, and then just 1, just feel like pure with the Allures and all
And
the
then
stuff
people are
they
playing Fiendsmith now too in there.
I didn't play against the Fiendsmith one, but yeah, that one scared me too. I didn't play against it, thankfully, so. And then the side deck, I had the 3 Fuelos. I honestly did not like the card at all. I wanted to cut it midway through because the one time I resolved it, I drew into Contain, Extinguish, and Alert.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. It just did not do anything for me.
It did its job. It drew 3, but you have a lot of cards in your deck that aren't the best to draw.
Yeah,
So it feels kind of bad.
For Rescue Ace, I'm thinking about cutting it. I would just replace it with Ghost Bell.
Bell goes hard. I side that card right now.
It was between Fuelos and Bell for me because I was like, well, I could draw 3-4 cards, but then in the tournament I just drew the three bricks that you never want to see. So then I have 3 Lancia. So the self-explanatory, goes against Malice. Don't want them banishing cards getting advantage.
Silver Bullet for the
Silver
deck
Bullet,
feels good.
Yeah. Funny story, in round 8, I sided 3 Lancia in going first, and then 3 Cross out and 1 Fuelos, so I couldn't get hurt going through Fiendsmith lines. And I opened nothing but non-engine and Lancia Fuelos, so then my opponent, I passed to them, they passed to me, and then I just drop in their draw phase the Lancia Fuelos, and they scoot back to me, or they pass back to me, and I just Zelantis OTK from there. Then you had the 3 Cross out, like I mentioned.
You side that in going first?
Yeah, I said it in going first, because the deck can be really fragile to, say, an Ash if you only open up 1 or 2 non-engine. So you just side 3 of that in. Going second against Rizio and first against them, I liked the Eclipse. Just solid card.
I like that card a lot because the Fiendsmith build too. Like
Yeah.
it helps clean up the Fiendsmith board. You still have to deal with the Trap Engrave, but the fact that you get to out the DDD and the detonator at the same card is nice. But then droplet you have to like send to.
Yeah.
This you don't send to, but if you don't clear, it feels bad.
And then the last card in the side deck, I didn't side it in much at all because I didn't really see much back row. But Judgment, just Judgment. Keep Harpies and Lightning Storm away from me, please. I don't like those cards. I would like my traps to resolve.
You have a lot of going first cards with between this and the cross out.
Going second, Rescue Ace is really good at breaking boards, and with the amount of engine you have between that and the Fiendsmith, and then the hand traps to try to stop your opponent from playing, it's really easy to just OTK your opponent as well. So it's not really just a brain dead set 4 pass deck. You just have a crap ton of ways to break through a board if it's not a full strength board and kill before your opponent gets to try to recoup on turn 3.
What were your losses to? You said 1 Ryzeal.
Yeah, I had 1 Ryzeal in the finals, then I lost to 2 Malice round 2 and 3, then we went for the lunch break, and I just put the earbuds in, I sat there, ate my food, and...
The lunch break saved you.
Lunch break helped. The mental reset was real. Yeah.
So are there things like, if your 3 losses were to the 2 of the more dominant decks in the meta, are there things in the side deck that you'd want to change for that, or in the main, or are you still, do you feel like you're content with how the deck was built, but the draws weren't yours, or maybe the plays weren't perfect?
The deck against Ryzeal feels really good. I was talking to Bengi about it after the loss. Devastated because it would have been my first top, but I should have, because my opening hand was Contain, Hydrant, Emergency, Impulse, and Ghost Ogre. So knowing my opponent was on Ryzeal, I should have just held because the normal summon of the Ice just gets me into full combo on their turn. So I should have just set the Contain and Imperm and gone when they normal summon the Ice or special summon one of the other guys from hand. I should have just activated the Impulse to summon Fire Engine and then played on their turn. So that was my fault. But into the Malice matchup, like I said, I wanted to cut the Fuelos and side in Bell instead because just stopping the Underground and other cards is really good. So
That card is nice. The Bell is really sick.
I love that card.
Any final thoughts?
No, just even though I didn't top proud, I took a deck that many people probably didn't give any consideration and did relatively well with it. Went on a 4-game win streak until the finals and lost. So,
well, we'll see how you do with it at Philly. Wink, wink.
Thank you. I'll try to be there.